What is up? Thank you so much for joining us for Racing Dudes Live. I am Magic with Aaron Halterman and Mike Somich. And gentlemen, we are just a few minutes away from the last three races at Belmont getting started here, all graded stakes. It's been an eventful day for the tournament that we're going to talk about here in a second. So that's been an exciting part. Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Good. It's nice to be here in the afternoon instead of, first thing in the morning, or I guess maybe not first thing, but earlier in the morning. And like I said, it's always nice to talk about racing instead of just the same race over and over and over. So we got three races to talk about, and I'm sure we can recap something that's happened as well.
Yeah, I want to talk about that 2-mile race. That was ridiculous. I mean, they go 137 for an opening mile. That's fast for a 2-mile race. Aban obviously quits because that's all Aban does. If you're still betting Aban, please seek help. I mean, this horse does not want to win anymore. Just kind of constantly quits back. And that 4 was so darn goofy, man. I had the 4 on top. I thought that, from a form perspective, I thought he was the horse to beat coming over from Europe. And he kind of runs off a little bit. The jockey's all over the place in the saddle at the start. It just very, very crazy race. But then, I mean, the winner looked awesome.
Aaron, I want to tip the cap to you because I knew that you liked the one before a couple of days ago. I knew that was a horse that you really liked for this race. And last year, I remember with this race, you and I were both huge on Baron Samdi coming into it, and we talked about it beforehand. And I kind of felt like you were a little bit of that same level of excitement for this horse. So it was nice to be able to get that horse home. It was 5-2. I thought might be the favorite, but get a decent price. Speaking of decent prices, you're not going to find that on Jackie's Warrior here, and I don't think we expected that. 2-5 morning line, still holding steady at 1-9 here. Do we see 1-5 at the uptick before the race goes off?
Just hit 1-5. So
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. All right.
I was getting ready to say, no, I don't think so. And then it went to 1-5.
We officially have the show jumpers going too. $47,000 of the $58,000 into the show pool on Jackie's Warrior here. I know Aaron's answer, so I'll ask you, Magic. Is there any way Jackie's Warrior loses this race?
Realistically, no. No, I don't see any way it happens. I mean, it's horse racing. Could it happen? Could something terrible happen? Sure, but there's no way. Like, who's going to go with the horse? Maybe the 2. Is that suicidal? Probably. Baby Yoda, to me, looked like the best horse on paper to try and beat Jackie's Warrior, but Baby Yoda's been beating up on Starter Allowance Company. And Jackie's Warrior was the best dirt sprinter in the world last year, 99% of the time. So, yeah. Aaron, what's your answer? Same?
Well, I would say if he loses, he doesn't finish second or third or fourth. You know what I mean? I think if he loses this race, it's just because he is flat as a board and he doesn't show up. You talked about it and what you said, it's like, yeah, maybe Baby Yoda can beat him. It's like, oh my God, really? Like he really shouldn't have any, chance to beat him. You wouldn't think Sound Money can beat him. He's going to have to improve quite a bit. I know that's who's the second, choice on the board, but not a bad horse at all. But this is a really serious horse. And Somich, we saw Jackie's Warrior with our own eyes, beat Aloha West and get revenge last time out of Churchill, and it was easy for him. And this field looks considerably weaker.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. If Jackie's Warrior doesn't win, Jackie's Warrior probably does not run second or third in this spot. I would actually say Mr. Phil would be the pace threat. Mr. Phil on the rail has gone 21.44. And you got Kendrick Carmouche, who's a Sen jockey up in New York. I would expect the 1 to try and go with the 3. Does it matter? Is the 1 fast enough? I don't know. Is it going to, will Jackie's Warrior sit off? We saw, obviously, Jackie's Warrior do that against Life is Good and then beat Life is Good. Much better horse than anyone who's in this field. So there's a couple ways that Jackie's Warrior probably can win this race, but he's going to get some pace pressure from the inside horse, Mr. Phil. Sound Money is the only other horse to me that I think I have any interest in, because if we are figuring out, okay, how does this fall apart? Well, it falls apart because there's a pace duel, and then you want the horse coming from off the pace. That pretty obviously is Sound Money. Baby Yoda for me is, you have one data point, that 114 buyer off the layoff. That's great. Point to another race that would win this. I mean, that's the biggest issue for Baby Yoda for me, is that we have that one data point that everyone's still focused on. And this horse hasn't done that much since.
Yeah, I think, if you're trying to beat Jackie's Warrior straight up, no, you don't pick Baby Yoda. I think for me, at least as far as the Racing Dudes tournament that we'll talk about in a second goes, that's where I went, because I thought, well, looking at this, who's most likely to get second to Jackie's Warrior? That's kind of how I handicap this one. War Toxin, interestingly, does it does like to get second a lot, but also has 40 lifetime starts. So, but I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about this from a tournament perspective a little bit?
Go ahead, Somich.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is one of those spots you got to decide. But this, to me, the key here is how many people in your tournament, right? In our tournament of 25, I don't hate using Jackie's Warrior because you're going to pick up, essentially, if you win, you're going to pick up $4.50, $5, somewhere in that range. And the place pool will be destroyed by Jackie's Warrior winning as well. So it's not like the place horse is going to pay $15, $20, especially in a 6-horse field like that. So in a smaller tournament, let's say sub 30 people, you could make an argument that playing Jackie's Warrior is a pretty good decision. If you're playing in a tournament with more than 30 people, the opportunity cost of beating Jackie's Warrior becomes too great because you're getting inflated prices on everybody else, and pretty much any other horse has significant value versus Jackie's Warrior, because if Jackie's Warrior wins, then you fall $5 behind the people that play Jackie's Warrior. Mm-hmm. If Jackie's Warrior loses and you play Jackie's Warrior, every other horse is paying $25 to $30. That's going to hurt you in these type of tournaments, especially in bigger fields, because people will play every other horse in this field if you're seeing fields of 100 people. So like the NHC tournament with 415 people, you don't want to play Jackie's Warrior in that, right? The $15,000 tournament today with 120 people, that you can't play Jackie's Warrior there. But in our tournament, the $5 could very much matter. And then Jackie's Warrior is not as bad of a tournament choice.
By the way, I just saw Evil Stevel, our fantasy league player in the paddock at Belmont, taking a picture of Jackie's Warrior. So that was kind of cool while you guys were talking. I saw him. I waved at him, and he didn't see me. Anyway.
Oh, that was rude.
Yeah, but it was cool to see him. Okay, so for the tournament today, I did play Jackie's Warrior. I was kind of studying up our past tournaments, kind of looking at it. And, a lot of the time, first or second might be separated by $1 or $2. Second or third might be separated $1 or $2. Third or fourth. So I thought I went with a lot of longer prices today, but I thought, this is a spot where I just don't have any doubt he's going to win. And if this thing comes down to $2 or $3 and I lost it trying to beat him, I don't want to do that. So I went ahead and took him here in this spot. He's the shortest price I played today. And it's not going to matter for me because I'm in 10th and, $2 or $3 isn't going to make the difference for me today. But if it did, I thought this was a spot to play him. And the biggest thing for me was it's a real stab on who's going to beat him. If there was like a solid second or even a solid third choice where it's like, here's a horse that might be like 5 or 6 to 1, but man, he's won a graded stakes and he's done some decent stuff, then maybe, but I just didn't see it.
The other argument for not playing Jackie's Warrior is actually one you brought up. You don't know what place you're going to be in at this point in the tournament.
True.
And having a horse that's 1 to 5 basically means you don't get to play the race, right? You don't have a chance to make up real ground on the top leader. So there is the knife that cuts both ways, right? Where yes, you want to have that extra $5, but you lost. You're essentially playing an 11 race tournament now when you need more than $5 to be able to try and catch up.
Yep. I can't argue that. And I've tried to do some different stuff. I tried to get some unique horses today, and in some races I did, and in some races I failed at that as well. So tried different stuff, and still haven't had the success I wanted today.
Well, this is the beautiful part about tournaments, though. I mean, you have to think outside the box. You have to be creative about it. Okay, how am I going to play this? There are definitely spots where you play the right horse, you play the wrong horse, but you got to learn from it, and you got to. I was frustrated with my Woodbine plays. I had 2 favorites at Woodbine. I wasn't planning on playing favorites at Woodbine. And one of them got bet down from 8 to 1. The other one just went off at 7 to 2. 2 horses that I wouldn't want at that price. And sometimes, you mentioned before we came on, one of your goals was to be contrarian today and try and find some contrarian horses. One of the things that you get better at when you're playing these tournaments is handicapping where the public money will go. Because if you look at that Woodbine race, specifically on the 2 horse, I think like a third of the tournament had the 2 horse, maybe half of the tournament at 8 to 1. Horse goes off at 3 to 1. It essentially means, again, you're just giving up a race. And if that horse doesn't win, anyone else who wins that race becomes wildly valuable. In this case, it was the 1 horse who made a ton of sense, but the morning line was 4 to 1. So so you have to kind of handicap where that money is going to go when you're selecting a horse as well.
And that was the big thing. Like I had a unique horse in the 6th at Woodbine, which was the 3rd race of the tournament. And the horse runs 3rd. And so, again, even though the horse didn't get me anything, you're right at that. Your point of it being, hey, you played maybe the right horse there. It just didn't win. But if it wins, you have a horse that none of the other 24 entries have. And so that's a huge advantage. And that's the flip of what you're saying. It's like, wow, I thought 2 or 3 people had this. Now 8 have it. And now it's like, this is worthless. And so I was back and forth. I know Bree. I don't know if you're here, Bree, but we were the only two people that had the 3 at Belmont in the 6th race, which is the second race of the tournament. The 3's ahead. The 3's 6-1. It looks like up until the last 50 yards, that horse is going to win. So again, that I feel good that the times that I did kind of guess it right, the horse at least ran well and gave us a little bit of a thrill. So yeah, it's learning, and you're right. Trying to there's Bree. And you know what I'm talking about. You had the 3 as well there in that 6 at Belmont, and I really try to make an effort. I don't care where I finish on this. I just want horses that give me a chance that if 1 or 2 of these horses win that I have picked, I'm going to win.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. The idea that you want to try and win the tournament, right? And having unique horses helps you win the tournament. Long shots help you win the tournament. You want to sprinkle in a couple horses that you really like, especially if they're in that 4 to 5 to 1 range. It's great to have those horses if you have big opinions, but you got to try and find some contrarian horses at prices too, especially if you want to win the bigger tournaments to be able to separate yourself.
I think that a good advantage or a good example kind of set me up there for it was the 1 in the last race. That's a horse that I knew there were going to be some people that use it, but it's like, look, I don't think he's going to be bet. He's 4 to 1. He's going to get bet down off that, but I don't think he's going to be like 6 to 5. I think he'll get 2 or 3 to 1 on him, and that's there's nothing wrong with that if you think he's a strong opinion and he's going to win. So yeah.
We got 2 minutes to the race here, so let's talk a little bit on the betting side for the people who aren't in the tournament. Obviously, Jackie's Warrior, a heavy favorite. We got 2 two-day bets that start here. So the 2-day pick 6 with a $2 denomination starts in this race. It has Jackie's Warrior, Jack Christopher in it. So there's 2 horses that are going to be heavily bet and likely singles for a lot of people. You also have the 2-day double here that starts with the sprint races. Did you guys consider playing either of those pools? Or you kind of focused on the 1-day pools right now?
I focused a lot on Saturday. What about you, Magic?
Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest, Mike. You've turned me into the kind of person that sees the takeout percentage of how ridiculously high it was for these pools for no reason whatsoever other than greed, and I said no, thank you. So I don't mean that to poo-poo on it. If I'm gonna at that point now where if I'm gonna spend my money, it's gonna go somewhere that's not getting 34% takeout.
Yeah, that 2-day pick 4, probably the best possible sequence. 24% takeout, just brutal. It makes it almost like it's rough when you have that. The 2-day doubles are 18%, which aren't terrible. 2-day pick 6, I believe, is 18%. But the 2-day pick 6 is tough because it's Jackie's Warrior, and let me pull up that sequence. Who else is in there? It's ridiculous. It's Jackie's Warrior, Jack Christopher, and Regier. And so you have 3 horses that are going to be sub even money that are all going to be likely winners in these races, and all of a sudden it's a pick 3 for $2. And it's tough.
I got some of them going in the gate, and some of them seem to be quite a ways back behind the gate here. It's interesting that you don't usually do that.
Well, we'll see Jackie's romps again. She was so impressive at Churchill. She was awesome to watch in person. We'll see if she's able to get loose against Mr. Phil, who I think is going to 100% gun from the rail. We'll see if he can keep up or not, but that's got to be the plan.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Maybe. There we go.
Wow, Mr. Phil didn't get it out that well.
No.
No.
There goes Jackie's.
Now here comes Mr. Phil kind of rushing up.
Uh-huh.
Yep. He's not going to get the rail. Damn. I'm trying to go a whole show without calling Jackie's Warrior she.
You didn't even make it till they broke from the gate. You said it like 6 times in a row.
Oh, biscuits.
I was just smiling on the inside.
Yeah.
The
We
whole
just let it
time.
go at this point.
All
Well,
right.
if you thought Baby Yoda was going to do it, he's been scrubbed along pretty much the whole step of the way so far.
Sound Money's actually closer than I expected to Jackie's Warrior. I mean, that looks like that's going to be your main threat here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Irad looks like he's got the hunter eyes there trying to keep Jackie's Warrior. And probably to your point, Mike, was probably trying to make sure Jackie's Warrior didn't get away.
Yeah, you don't want to try and make up 6 lengths in the stretch against Jackie's Warrior.
Like Baby Yoda's trying to do.
Yeah, your Baby Yoda's trying.
But yeah, the key word there is trying.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be awfully tough to catch this one.
Yeah. Shit. He's just too good for this group. And
Joel does the peak finally. All right.
There was just no way you could beat that horse.
He's so good, man. Like going 6 furlongs, he's so tough because he can go out there, he can take pressure. Didn't need to be able to cross over. Was able to just get out there and go, and just really impressive. I mean, it's one of those races where it's hard to make a bunch of money, but man, it's fun to watch that horse run. 1:15
flat, and was jogging that stretch. That is fast. He does that, if he does that kind of speed in the Met Mile, that is like we're talking, people are pulling their hair out how fast that effort was.
Wow.
I do want to say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, go ahead.
I do want to say Sound Money was a much better sprinter than I expected. Showed more speed, was able to at least chase Jackie's Warrior somewhat down the lane. If Sound Warrior goes 7 furlongs and there's more horses in the field, I think Sound Money actually might be a pretty good sprinter.
I don't disagree. I certainly thought, looking at the past performances, like, well, he's not awful, and he's not Jackie's Warrior, but he could compete. And you said it during the race, he really showed a nice early turn of foot there to kind of get into good positioning and finish strong. I mean, sure, he was just getting widened by Jackie's Warrior, but past that, I mean, he was finishing strong. Nobody gaining on him. He was kind of pulling away from the rest of them, and so it begs the question. He's not in the race, but what would have happened tomorrow if he would have been in the Met Mile after what you saw there?
I knew you were going to say that.
It's worth talking about. We got like an hour, so.
Well, who makes the lead? Jackie's Warrior, Flightline?
I think Flightline.
I think that's the reason Jackie's Warrior is not in the Met Mile.
Jackie's track life is good, right? I think Vicky mentioned that earlier in the chat.
Yeah, it's interesting. If they had, I don't know if I may have actually picked Speaker's Corner if Jackie's Warrior was in the Met Mile. Because all of a sudden you then have Jackie's Warrior and Flightline who are clearly just going to go blow for blow, right? And yes, I realize it obviously has track life is good before, but that's not the goal. And it's depending on the draw. We'll see what happens there. But man, it would be interesting because you'd have, even Speaker's Corner wants to go. Maybe you end up with Happy Saver, something crazy like that in the Met Mile.
I think it would have been fascinating to see. I don't blame Steve Asmussen one bit. You just won this race easy, sitting back in the barn, getting ready for the next one. There's no reason to bang heads with Flightline until the Breeders' Cup. The horse is so lightly raced. He picks his spots. There's no way that horse is coming back east until the Breeders' Cup. And I guess that's not east, but in Kentucky. So if you got to face him there, hey, it's a Breeders' Cup. What do you expect? But there's no reason to go head-to-head with him when you got this $300,000 6-furlong race that he can just go dominate.
Yeah, $300,000 is a big reason to run here, right? Like it's a nice little $180,000 paycheck that they just cashed for essentially a workout.
How about War Toxin getting third there? 69-1. Nice.
I'm kind of upset I didn't just hammer that exact. I don't even want to know what that exact ended up paying. Because that's a really logical exact. That was only $3. All right, never mind. I'm not upset.
Would you rather hammer Jackie's Warrior straight at 1-5 or the straight exacta that is going to pay 3-1?
Oh, 3-1 exacta, right? I mean, I'd much rather have 3-1 than 1-5.
Which one are you going to feel more confident hammering? Is what I mean.
Yeah. I'll take the return.
If Flightline makes it, if he actually limps his way to the Breeders' Cup, if they keep him intact till then, does he go sprint? They'd have to, right? Because the dirt mile is going to be 2 turns because they're back at Keeneland.
How far could he go? We don't know. We don't know anything about his pedigree. He can go the classic distance. So
theoretically, yeah.
I don't know is the answer to that. Our buddy Ryan Stillman, he loves this horse. He's always asked me questions about him, and I was like, look, I don't know. He shows up. He just kills horses. I don't know how far he can go. I don't know how fast he really is. Like, we haven't seen him really extended.
God, it'd be fun. It'd be fun if they're like, you know what? We're stretching this horse out. And he goes in the Classic. If he goes from the Met Mile to the Whitney to the Classic, like that kind of route, that would be incredible. I doubt he does, but it would be awesome to see.
Yes, it would be. I don't know. You just never really know. You never know when he's going to show up. Like, he won that Malibu in December, and we're all like, oh, great. We'll see him here. No. now it's the Met Mile, and we're in May, and my guess would be after this, we're going to see him at, what is it, the Pat O'Brien Magic at Del Mar? Is that the big, or is it the?
No, it's the Bing Crosby.
Yes,
Pat O'Brien's for the Dirt Mile.
Correct. So put him in the Bing Crosby. That's a Grade 1 race, and then we'll maybe see him at the Breeders' Cup, right? So, and that's the other thing. The fact that he's here tells me that he's doing really, really well, and he's healthy, fit, and ready.
Where does Jackie's Warrior go next? Where do you send him?
I would say Saratoga, the Vanderbilt. I would be my
I was trying to think
guess.
what the next one was for older horses.
That'd be my guess. The Vanderbilt and Forgo are at Saratoga. I don't know if you run them in both or not. I think, this year, last year, you think about Jackie's Warrior, he danced a lot of dances, right? And he lost at the Breeders' Cup, man. He just wasn't right that day. So I think this year, more conservative, aim for a Breeders' Cup specifically.
The Breeders' Cup wasn't his fault. They threw 7 horses at him on the front end.
That's going to happen every year in the Breeders' Cup sprint. That's not that's kind of the Breeders' Cup sprint.
The Breeders' Cup, though,
they probably didn't need to go to the Gallant Bob right beforehand. In hindsight, they probably didn't need that easy Grade 2 win.
Exactly. So what? I don't necessarily disagree. What if he gets like third, right? But he was done in this before they got to the stretch. So I just think he was tired. He took some time off. He had a knee chip removed or something. So I just think he was a little worn out. But I think now you've got him some easy wins, and so you just kind of slowly build him up for that race.
He's got actually the same start this year to last year. He starts at Oaklawn and then Churchill and then Belmont for Belmont Stakes weekend and then Saratoga for a couple of them. So interesting.
Yeah.
He's only been to Keeneland once, and that was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and that was 2 turns, so that one doesn't matter. Hey, let's move on. I'm just focused on Jackie's Warrior. Just love the horse too much. This is a race where we can have some fun conversations. The New York Stakes, a Grade 1 race. Mike, you previewed this for us on the YouTube channel. Lots of Chad Brown horses in here, 4 of them, all from Peter Brandt, the owner, as well. So how did you handicap this one?
Well, Regeer's going to be tough to beat. We saw Regeer, and tomorrow we'll see Speak of the Devil, 2 monster purchases from Peter Brandt, and both of those horses looked awesome in their debut in the Chad Brown barn. It's going to be tough to beat Regeer here. You got no pace at all. I think that's one of the big things that you got to talk about in this race. Absolutely no one wants the lead here. I think it's going to be Flighty Lady on the inside that gets the lead, and every now and then you see these Chad Brown 3rd or 4th entries at monster prices, wire fields. I mean, we saw it in the United Nations. I think it was 2 years back. We saw it with a horse that's running tomorrow. The one horse that's running tomorrow in the Manhattan. I wouldn't be
Kinsell's riding.
Yeah, Kinsell is riding and rode when they went wire to wire with 2 other Browns in that race. I wouldn't be shocked if Flighty Lady stays up front for a very long time at 27-1 right now. Because there is no pace in here. Now, I do think Regeer ends up winning, but I think Flighty Lady is the price that you can kind of put under if you're trying to juice up exotics.
Aaron, what about you?
2 airs. It's over.
It's crazy having that kind of confidence in a horse when there's also a Chad Brown horse who is undefeated in 6 starts, has 3 graded stakes wins, and has Irad Ortiz Jr. riding. And you're like, no, there's another one. It's going to air.
Saw that horse with my own eyes when she ran last time at Churchill Downs. It was not that great of a race. As far as the quality of the field, she looked beat.
You're talking about Bleecker Street.
Talking about Bleecker Street. Flavian Pratt had to split horses late. It was a really good ride to get her up. I have nothing but respect for a horse that wins 6 in a row. I don't care what level you're at. That's a nice horse. And I'm not trying to shit on the horse, but this Rougier is in another class. And that's as simple as it is for me.
I'll go as far as say Bleecker Street's the worst round in this race. Based on what I've seen and based on the way that sets up. I just Bleecker Street started out down in Tampa, stayed down there for a long time, didn't beat very much down there, goes to Churchill, wasn't that impressive. Pratt jumps off. I mean, to me, there's enough here that says I take Virginia Joy over Bleecker Street, and I think Flighty Lady has the edge from a pace perspective over Bleecker Street. So I would take all 3 of the other Browns over Bleecker in this spot.
Well, and not only that, you could make the argument that, well, Chad Brown hates the turf at Gulfstream. He debuted this horse at Monmouth and then to Meadowlands, for her first 2 starts. That's usually a sign that Chad Brown's it's okay, not the best. And usually when they step up to face a horse like a Rougier here, it's going to be pretty crazy. Nick throws out the 2-1-5 try going Rougier, Chad Brown, Flighty Lady. Let's talk about Virginia Joy because we've talked about the other 3, but this is the 4th Chad Brown. She is exiting a gate-to-wire win over a yielding turf course with 3 other horses in there, one of those being Lovely Lucky, who's in here too. But Trevor McCarthy picks it back up. Mike, what did you think about here, Virginia Joy here?
I had Virginia Joy as my second place horse in this spot. I thought that was a nice return to the track after a couple months off. This horse has improved. Both starts out as a 5-year-old. Note that the improvement last year from the first race out to the second race out was nice as well. Like that was a 4-horse field, and she was able to essentially walk up front. But they still came home pretty quickly for that race. She looked good in that race. I don't think that that's a false buyer from a buyer perspective. I think it's a fair number. And this horse has consistently improved. And Chad Brown is very good at getting 5-year-olds to take a step forward. And that's exactly what we saw in those first 2 races from Virginia Joy. I wouldn't be shocked if Virginia Joy runs a big one. I like the 2/1-3 try the most. What about you, Aaron? What did you think of Virginia Joy?
I like Virginia Joy. a lot. Sorry, I'm getting drunk messages from our friends at Belmont while you guys are talking, so I'm not paying attention.
Steve-o.
It's hilarious.
They're giving away free booze at Belmont. Free booze on the backstretch.
They're having a good time. So the 3 Virginia Joy. Listen, I'm kind of, and again, you hate like talking down about a horse that's won 6 in a row, but I'm kind of with Somich. Like I think Virginia Joy is a little bit better horse than Bleecker Street. This horse is improving, like he just said, 2 for 2, and just really looked great last time out in a race that, I mean, fairly put, she should have. She was 2-5, but just because she's 2-5 doesn't mean she should win by 14, right? So this was a really good race from her. I think she gets the jump, maybe on her stablemate a little bit. And like I said, you talk the same thing about Flighty Lady. Maybe they kind of get the jump. Maybe they kind of scare the 2 a little bit. So, I don't mind the 3 at all. The other thing that Magic mentioned about the 5, Bleecker Street, it's like, we started at Monmouth, we started at Meadowlands. It's funny because, Jared and I, for the bankroll article, we put a big win wager on Bleecker Street to kick off Friday, the stakes action on Friday. And that was one of the things that Magic brought up that we almost paused on. It's like, how good is this horse really? It's been running at, Tampa, sure, whatever, but it's been running at some weird tracks. And I really don't think she ran all that well last time, even though she won. It was just kind of like, damn, Pratt was able to split horses late and get her up for the win. So just to pack on, I thought y'all made some really good points talking about the 3 and the 5 there.
Ruggiero horse, to get back to her too, if you don't remember, as a 3-year-old came over to contest the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf at Del Mar, and Mike, you broke it down previewing the Beaugay before, but as to why she was, had such a terrible trip, and Del Mar has tighter turns than a lot of tracks, especially like a Belmont or a Churchill. So a lot to like about Ruggiero as a 4-year-old. One of 2 horses that Peter Brandt paid, a combined $6 million for to bring over.
4.1 and 2.2 million, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to have that kind of money.
And they're pretty good, both of these horses.
He's going to make money on both of them. That's the crazy part. Because when he sells these or breeds with them, he's going to have some very nice horses come out of them.
He'll probably, you could sell your share to Coolmore, who's got the other half of Ruggiero here, and wow, must be nice. Anyways, we got 18 minutes to post here. Let's talk about the leaderboard for a little bit. For the tournament, I'm going to pull this down for a second. It's going to be interesting how this race plays out because you have Ruggiero, the even money favorite, who we could see end up, pushing us, a few of us who picked her. But I want to talk about the people who have the longer shots here. If I can pull it up, there we go. Zoom it in a little bit here. So here, as we stand with 2 races to go, Adam Michaelberger, barring something just absolutely ridiculous happening, seems to have first place locked up. Congratulations to you. You've had a very solid day all around. But you have Ruggiero here. Jennifer has Ruggiero. A couple of people, including Dr. Tang's better of his 2 entries, have the 7 Family Way. Aaron, I can get back to you. What do you think about the 7 Family Way as a long shot here, 6-1 for Brendan Walsh?
Well, as a long shot, it's not too bad, right? Ran second to Warlike Goddess last time out, and obviously Warlike Goddess is a very, very nice horse. So that's good class. Virginia Joy is a horse that beat this horse, but only by a length, 3 races back. So the horse has class, and I think that's the biggest thing. Ruggiero, I still think is going to have to run, fairly poor race to get beat by a horse like Family Way, but the horse does have a lot of class. And so, you can't really argue if you're trying to take a shot with somebody. Family Way makes a lot of sense.
Mike, thoughts on the 7?
That's my 4th super horse. So I'm going to play a 2/137, 137, 137 super. I think that this horse makes a ton of sense in this spot. I mean, you have some back races which you can point to, and you can say, okay, they are good enough to be competitive with some of the with the brown horses. Brendan Walsh has been absolutely on fire in some of these stakes races recently. He's 15% in graded stakes, which is very good for a barn his size. But you go back and you're like, look, that was a good race last time out against Warlike Goddess, even though it didn't come back the best. And you see some of the other back races, the very one at Gulfstream where he just missed a Virginia Joy by a length. Or she just missed a Virginia Joy by a length. That's a very good race. I feel like this horse is kind of on the upswing. And if I'm looking for a horse that I think it's going to be tough for Virginia Joy I think it's going to be tough for Family Way to win. But I think Family Way makes a ton of sense when you're looking at underneath horses here.
And, Walsh has been doing very well lately with his turf horses, no matter where he sends them on the big days. And he's got Santine in the Manhattan Stakes tomorrow, looking like a good shot. Okay, leaderboard here. Let's go back. Mark Devine is sitting there at second. If Flighty Lady wins this, that would be the one chance I think that someone has of beating Adam here in the tournament, because a lot of people have the 9 there in the last leg. Shoddy's got a couple entries. She's currently sitting third. Shoddy's got Bleecker Street. Somich, you kind of broke her heart a little bit there talking about Bleecker Street.
It's okay, because when we talk about the last race, I'm going to tell her what an excellent pick she made in that one, because I love that one in the last race, currently sitting at 10-1 on the morning line. We'll see what price we actually get. I'm excited. Like, look, this is a fun race from a star perspective. Jackie's Warrior, obviously very fun from a star perspective. The last race today at Belmont is wide open. So if you have an opinion there, you can play doubles into that last race here with Regier if you do like Regier, because there are 4 horses I think have a legit shot at over 10-1 in that last race. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to end the tournament.
I didn't realize Michael Myers was in. I knew he's in New York. I didn't realize he was at Belmont this weekend. But sitting there with Free Beers, good to see. Ask Free Beers, and same for you, Michael. Why the hell are you not in the tournament? Where are you at, boys? Where are you at? Big fans of the Racing Dudes, longtime friends. Where are you at in the Racing Dudes tournaments? Haven't seen you yet. Quit sitting there in the seats and come join us. Let's see here. Yeah, Adam's romping. Great job. Let's see. Dr. Tane's got the 7. Nick, who had a really nice pick with the 3 horse at Belmont earlier today. He also has the rail horse. Oh, Shoddy has the 5 in both of them. I didn't realize she had both entries in the top 7. Nice. Courtney's got the 3, which is Virginia Joy. That's the first person in the top 10 there. We'll keep moving. By the way, congrats, Aaron. You are the highest ranking of all of us, right? Yep, I got that right. Yeah, you're sitting there at 9th.
For now.
Died Miranda was at 0 for forever until she wasn't, shot right up. Now she's sitting there at 11th. She has the 4 core values. If core values hits the board, gets top 2, Dr. Miranda could be looking at a top 5 threat here. Jared at 14th. He's got Regier as well. I've slipped a little bit, but hey, I'm still top 20. I've got Regier. Mike. Hey, Mike, you're not sitting on a goose egg anymore. Which one did you have that cashed?
I got the 6th to place, man. Nailed that. I crushed that.
Nicely done. And you
almost
don't
paid
have
as much as the
Regier
exactor.
here. You went with Flighty Lady, and this is backing up your opinion. You did think that this was a really great shot to hit second, because she could try and go gate to wire and just get nailed late.
He might be in last, but I'm just trying to quickly look this. He's probably the only one left of us that has a chance to win.
Yeah, if it goes 1-1, I win this thing.
Yeah. And so that's an experienced tournament player doing what I tried to do and failed at. That's what I wanted right there.
You may
I
not
kind of
think
wish
she
I
has
went 1-3, because I actually think the 3 has a legit shot at 20-1 in the last race, and no one used the 3. There are other ones. But I do like the one here a little bit. I think that, you could hold on to the place or possibly gate to wire, and that last race is wide open with the prices. But yeah, I tried to find a couple horses here that were unique at a big price that would shoot me right up.
I'm the only one that used the 11. She's 15-1. That might give me a
Yeah,
chance.
I mean, that's the – well, let's see. If the 11 won –
that would put me third, pretty much.
Yeah, you might be in a pay spot. Yeah.
All I want to do is get paid, Aaron. All I want to do is get paid.
No, I get it. I would love to as well. Trust me. I get it. Listen, I screwed it up and tried and still screwed it up. So there's that.
My balance is low. I just started with 100. I don't know. This isn't my betting balance. This is my horse tourneys that I started 2 months ago balance. It would be what? So that means we're through 5 tournaments, and I've 586 is what I've ended up returning here.
We got Joseph chiming in here talking about a horse that we have not talked about yet. So he says, how can you not play core values after Joel or with Joel after last race? Joel wants this race, he'll win it. Core values sitting on the board is 17-1. Any interest, Aaron, in core values?
The last comment the last sentence is really funny. So if Joel wants this race, he's going to win it. But certainly he doesn't want a grade 1, though, right? So
you never know with Joel. He just got a race. He just got a grade.
He's won 2 legs of the Triple Crown. He hasn't won the Preakness before. He just clearly doesn't want to win it. That's the
that last comment's funny. But the comment on the horse, listen, we talked about Family Way and how we thought, well, that's a horse that makes sense. This horse was just behind him in that last race, and they basically finished about the same position. Well, not really. Core Values was about a length behind, but it is a major upgrade of jockeys. I will definitely give you that, Joseph. Hopefully that Joel wins it for you. Hopefully he wants it today.
If you don't like my 1 and you want a price, I don't hate the 4 as an underneath price, right? If you're like, hey, I don't like the 1, I don't care about your pace edge, I'm just going to throw the 1 out. The 4 makes sense as an underneath horse. As you mentioned that last race, we're talking about Family Way. We like that horse underneath. You get an upgrade in jockey. This is a 4-year-old third off the layoff. That's a positive angle. So, I could make a case for why the 4 is able to get a piece of it. I think it's too much to ask to win the race, but I think the 4 could get a piece.
Well, I think if you're playing that horse underneath, I definitely think that's that one that makes sense, because unless you're not using Rogier on top, and then maybe you don't have to, but you've got to get bombs. And at 17-1 to get third, that horse makes sense, right?
Yep.
Even the races at Keeneland, you think Keeneland, even if it's an allowance race, there's going to be good horses there. That Keeneland allowance, I'm looking at the field, 7 horses of the 6 rivals, 5 of them either stakes or multiple graded stakes winners in a Keeneland allowance race, and Core Values was 4th, and then came back and did well in our next race as well. You're getting that big jockey upgrade, nothing to dislike about. By the way, Core Values is a multiple stakes winner. Honor Code, a horse that got better when he was older in his progeny, you're doing that, and is actually a really good turf route sire as well. So even though he wasn't a turf horse himself, Dr. Miranda does have the 4. I think looking at the leaderboard, is she the only one? The only one that has the 4 might be. Yeah, it looks like it. Hey.
Vicky, takeout for the 2-day pick 4 is 24%. It's the highest takeout of any of the 2-day wagers.
Because Belmont hates, because Naira hates you. That's why.
Unbelievable. They put 4 good races and they do it. Aaron, did you catch the Magic Mike show last night?
No.
Do you know who Magic used in the Belmont?
No.
What the? Hang on. What was that? No. What was that shit? You just no.
Well, I'll be honest. I listen to almost every one of them, but on these Triple Crown weeks, I just don't have the time to do it. I'm sorry.
I don't listen to him either. It's okay.
But no, I did not listen to it. What horse did he use?
He used 2 horses in the Belmont. Magic, who'd you use?
We the People and Barbara Road. Joel.
Charles brought up the comment that Barbara Road is the buzz horse on the backside. Obviously, we know Shotty's a huge Barbara Road fan. I didn't know if you caught that Magic used Barbara Road or not. And what are your thoughts on using Barbara Road in the Belmont in the pick 5?
Well, defend yourself, Magic. Why did you use Barbara?
No, go and listen to the show. I'm not repeating myself again. If you didn't want to listen to it the first time, you're not going to listen this time.
All right, if you're going to be a jackass, I'll just bury you then. I don't know why he would be your second horse on the ticket. I think if you're going to go 4 or 5 deep, that he starts to make a little bit of sense. Him going 2 deep and one of them's Barbara Road. I guess Magic's looking at just the one data point of the Kentucky Derby and remembering that, hey, they closed about the same. They had the same trip. They closed. Him and Modonago closed about the same. Modonago still finished ahead of him, but hey, maybe Barbara Road can turn the corner, and you're getting 3 or 4 times the price. So I guess that's why. I don't know, Magic. Defender, why did you do it?
Jockey upgraded Joel Rosario. He's won this race twice. Removing the blinkers, the horse should be more forwardly placed than he has been in the Triple Crown Trail. You look at his best races when John Ortiz got him, those early races, he was more forwardly placed. And 5 of the last 8 Belmont winners, they're sons or grandsons of Tappet. You can't ignore that fact. So you've either got Barber Road, We the People, or Creative Minister, who that applies to for this position, for that stat.
So here's an idea or a question. You mentioned Creative Minister. You think Barber Road is better than Creative Minister. So, like, if you're going to go that angle, which is not a bad angle, what kind of said, okay, I'm going to leave Creative Minister off?
I think it's been too much for him in a short period of time. I think going a mile and a half after everything that he's been going through in a short period of time will be too much for him. But I also I look at him and what's changing from the Preakness to the Belmont that's going to make him win. Because if you like Mo Donegal because he beat the Preakness winner, okay, so how is Creative Minister going to beat Mo Donegal if nothing is changing from Preakness to Belmont? Like, we're not making any adjustments. We're not going to do anything different. Okay, so he'll run third. Barber Road, we're changing jockeys to the best closer in America, as long as he doesn't have to make an adjustment. So that's why he's good on the closer. You're taking the blinkers off of the horse. You've got a trainer who's been having an absolute career year, has just been so hot at Oaklawn, which you know. I'm getting 10-1 on him. I'm trying to beat Mo Donegal.
I don't hate that I'm trying to beat Mo Donegal angle.
I think you kind of have to try and beat Mo Donegal or We the People. It's tough to use both of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I don't completely disagree with that. And I'm just giving you some crap, Magic. You know that.
Well, again, I don't.
No, I was annoyed that he was like, no, I didn't care to listen. Tell me now. No, screw you.
Again, I don't hate the use of Barber Road if you're using 4 or 5. 4 or 5 horses, or even 3. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that Barber Road's going to have enough to outkick 2 or 3 of these horses in here. I think he's a classic get up for third. The horses that were kind of towards the front got a little tired, and he just kind of gets up there and does what he does.
That's all for you.
That's all for you. All right, let's head back here. We got 4 minutes to post. Right now, Regier is sitting at 4-5. Aaron, you love betting heavy favorites like this selectively. Is Regier at 4-5 one of those horses that you're interested in betting?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the line for me, 4-5. I would like it better if it was even money, 6-5. But yeah, I thought at 4-5, this was fair odds for this horse.
Comment of the day. I even know what the hell this means, and that there's no reason I should ever know what this means. 4 minutes to post. You want to talk about what this means, Aaron? Yeah,
so that is the greatest hitter in softball history, NCAA softball history, Jocelyn Alo. She's the home run champion. She's probably the greatest player to ever play at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's won 6 national championships since 2000. So pretty damn good softball program. Won back-to-back last night. And Alo is probably the best player, definitely the best hitter in softball, NCAA softball history, probably the best player of all time. And yes, Regier will do that. Regier will look like Jocelyn coming down the stretch.
That's a true racing dude fan right there. I wanted to bring that up.
I love it. I love it.
I just throwing it out there. The 2-3 Exacta Cold is paying $6 right now. That seems like an awfully good price for a 2-3 for the 2-3 Cold. Comparing, we just got $3 on the Exacta last race. Right now, the favorite Exacta is the 2-5, paying $4. But the 2-3 at 6 is a little interesting to me.
It is the three. The 3 is the one I'm kind of low key worried about. And now Regier's 3-5, and so now it's like, that's when I would pause on her at 3-5. But the 3 is the one that it's just like, I just have this feeling the 3 is going to turn for home, and it's like, that's going to be the one that's going to give her trouble, And so I get it. Like, that's, if you want to play a 2-3 Exacta, or even, if you think the 3 can outkick her, play the 3-2. I think that's paying fairly. Magic agrees.
Sorry, I'm doing work in the background.
Do we have any argument to the 1 getting the lead here? Do you think anyone else is going to go, or is the 1 going to be able to just gallop alone up front?
I mean, over
The one should
50%
get the
of the
lead.
field is one trainer. No, I don't. The other ones don't show any early speed.
I mean, the 7 has shown a little bit. Family Way has been up close at least, although I'd be shocked if Family Way was actually in the lead. But she did go 47 opening half mile, going a mile and 3/4 or 3/16 at Arlington.
Well, even if the very one fraction, sorry, Aaron, when she went almost 51 and almost 116 and a half, those are the fractions. If you saw that here, you'd be like, yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So Vicky says Chad confirmed Flighty Lady is the rabbit, and that's what I was getting ready to say. It feels a lot like that horse is going to be the rabbit, but let's not forget, sometimes those Chad rabbits get brave on the front end. Think of Tribuvon last year in the Manhattan. Boy, he got way out ahead, got brave, and domestic spinning was able to reel him in. But, turning for home, it was questionable. So maybe Flighty Lady can kind of do that same kind of thing for Somich here.
I mean, it's L'Emperator. Is that right? Yeah. L'Emperator won at 19-1 last time out as a Chad Brown rabbit with Eric Kinsella.
Yep. I mean, it's not the worst angle. It's really not, and especially in a field where you've mentioned several times, and you're right, we're devoid of a lot of speed. And this horse is going to be sent. You know it. The trainer said it.
Yeah,
that's always important in New York, right? Because even if they think they're going to go on paper, they don't go sometimes.
And you might get 51.5 here. Like they're going to be there. There is nobody really that's going to push. So we'll see what happens here early and how it sets up for everybody late. I think we all agree though, Regier is going to be pretty tough in this spot.
See a lot of people talking about Bleecker. I like Bleecker as a horse. I just think this is too tough of a race today. But as a horse, nothing but respect for that horse. And if she wins, I'm not going to be upset. I mean, she
in the gate.
Here we go.
Off we go.
Hey, that sounds like where we're going. Yeah. Okay, now chill out a little bit, Cancel.
Cancel's like, I go.
He's like, I'm not messing this up. I don't get to ride Chad Brown horses very often.
She's going to sit third into the turn here.
Is third? I think she's like fifth, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she's third to last, Magic.
You got the 2 and the 3 mixed up. Still,
they've run out of like the caps, the different colored caps to put on the Peter Bright horses. One of them's wearing red for no reason.
So for Bleecker to win this race, and once again, I love Bleecker, but she's going to have to pass Regier and pass Virginia Joy. That is going to be an awfully tough ask here. So we'll see.
See if we get about almost 50, should be around 51 for this, right? Yep, there you go. Yep. Almost exactly what Family Way got for that Gulfstream race. Ooh, Regier's. Is that Regier?
26 second quarter. Talk about a breather there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, if she's good enough, she should at least get a piece of this. She's left alone, and she's just cruising.
That's what we're kind of hoping. That's all I'm asking.
Pratt still seems like he's all right. Now he's letting the reins go a little bit.
Yeah, we're creeping up a little bit here, getting in position before the real running starts.
I mean, all right, 116 for
there he goes. He just gave her the green light. Here we
go. Here comes Family Wade up to take the lead there.
Virginia Joy got the jump slightly. If she can get out of here.
Yep, she's out now.
She's out, and here we go.
Get her, Regier. Look out for Bleecker.
Regier's not firing.
Ooh,
this horse's beat.
Come on, Virginia, get up.
Family Way.
Get up.
Family Way.
Bleecker Street. Bleecker Street for the win. Bleecker Street 7 for 7.
Bleecker Street's got it.
7.
Wow.
Oh,
there we go. Congratulations to everybody that supported Bleecker there. That span. This right here, horse has heart. Holy cow.
Wow.
She showed it. Congratulations for Bleecker and the supporters there. That was awesome.
Yeah, and Regier just does not fire at all.
Not at all.
Oh, and don't you think Irad was really happy that Pratt's horse took a shit?
Yeah, no kidding.
This horse didn't fire.
Irad gave a big whoop too when he crossed the finish line. That was a hell of a
man.
Listen, Somich, your one didn't get it, but
we finished third.
I will say you did have Brandt over 137 over 137, correct? You just had the wrong Brandt horse.
That's Regier, not Bleecker. We got the super.
Yeah,
with a 10-1 and a 50-1 in it.
Are we sure? Can we check the tags on the horses? Can we check the lips? Can we make sure we didn't have a switch there?
Oh, frustrating.
Man, I am wildly surprised by that result. As far as Regier just not firing, and let it kind of be a thing when she dropped it 3-5, and this was a miracle that she did for me. It's like, okay, no, I don't want to bet this horse to win, because even though I felt strongly, it's like you have to set your limits, and that's why. That kind of shows you it's a horse race, and anything can happen once they break the gates.
I mean, that is a racehorse time there too. So they go 24 seconds. They go 1:16, then they go 24 to the mile to 1:40, and then they come home in 22-2. Is that right? If Bleecker Street made up ground coming home in 22-2, that's wild. So they go 1:40, and the final time's 2:02:58. That's
wow.
That's ridiculous that you're able to close into that.
Where's Craig Mikowski?
Wow.
Ask Craig if that was correct.
So, watching that, anybody worried about Speak of the Devil versus Regal Glory tomorrow?
No.
Is Speak of the Devil going to do what Regier just did?
No. Speak of the Devil's move at Churchill was one of the most dynamic moves I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
I think we got done after Regier's win, and we still went back and said that the other was the better of the two, because we saw them like back-to-back weeks or thereabouts, right?
Okay. Good.
Are you?
Horse didn't run a step, so maybe a little.
But they didn't run against each other, and a Chad Brown horse just closed the final quarter of a Mount a Quarter race in 22-4. I think if you're worried, that should be why you're not worried, because Chad Brown closed from the clouds. Just the horse that's now 7 for 7 did it.
Also, go back and watch. If you're worried, maybe Magic could even pull it up for us. If you watch that Churchill race again, where Speak of the Devil was able to circle the field, they were crawling up front.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I don't know, maybe in two blinks of an eye, Speak of the Devil goes from last to second, and all of a sudden is just running away from him down the lane. I mean, to me, she was the more impressive of these two horses. I'm shocked Regier ran this poorly. I thought Regier would run a lot better than this, but she was the more impressive of the two going into this weekend in my mind.
Oh, I totally agree. It's my best bet on the whole card tomorrow. Just saying. See, I mean, I thought this horse was freaking just the best. I thought it was the best horse running on Breeders' Cup weekend or Kentucky Derby weekend. So yeah.
Get the one at 51-1 in third. Can't freaking Bleecker Street, man.
It was a great use though, and the horse was battling back at the last like 1,500 yards. So it's.
I thought he actually had a shot to win she had a shot to win there when they were coming down, because she was coming back on the 7 a little bit, and I just needed the 5 to completely stop. That didn't happen.
No.
What's Speak of the Devil? That's what I was trying to. I could not remember that horse's name all of a sudden. I'm trying to find the race that she won so I can pull it up for you.
Oh, that'd be nice. I haven't watched that back in a while. It's only been a day, I think, since I've watched it. So.
Churchill Distaff Turf Mile. That's it.
So can Shoddy catch the leader? Probably not, right? She's up into second. She has the 1. Now the one's down to 6-1. Yeah.
I think the 1's going to take money. It was 10-1 morning, but I think the 1's going to take money in the last.
But she certainly, obviously, if the 1 wins, she's going to get second. So, and if the 9 wins, she'll probably get third. So that's good. Very good.
I have the.
That was impressive from Bleecker Street. I didn't. think
no
Bleecker
doubt.
Street had that winner. Like, that was just it was amazing how fast they went there. 22 and change for the final quarter, and she's able to close 5 lengths. I mean, it's been tough to win on the lead. We talked about it on the Magic Mike show. It's tough to win on the lead right now at Belmont. You've seen it all day. Horses get caught late. I mean, we saw it in the turf sprint where you had that 3-horse, Aaron. You don't want to be on the lead in turf sprints, but man, the 1 and the 7 looked like they were going to fight it out, and she just came from the clouds there.
Exactly. I mean, it was just like, holy shit, that was awesome. I mean, that was quite the perfect. It felt like the 7 was going to win, and then bam, the 5 just leveled off. Man, what a steady horse! 7 in a row. Awesome performance.
Here's your 8. Here's Speak of the Devil making her move for you, Somich.
Let's go back for a second there. Just go back.
I was trying to, and then Chatty Cathy up there wouldn't stop talking. So here you go.
So look at that, 49 seconds, almost 50 seconds a half mile. This is a mile race, right? So very slow for a turf mile. Look where she is. She's dead last at this point. And then just look at the move where she goes inside of the 5 and then swings right around. I mean, just so impressive. I think she's in the lead by the top of the stretch here.
And that's Irad on the 7.
So
Inside.
here's the move.
Outside. It's
We're
almost
not
like
even-
Pratt's trying to hold her back from going too fast around that turn.
We're not even middle of the turn yet. Now we're middle of the turn, and she's in second place.
Look at Pratt's hands. He still has an Ester.
By top of the lane, we're in the lead. I mean,
Irad's
just
shit.
electric move from her. And you'd think she gets better second start here. We'll see.
Yeah, because look at her kind of goofing around in the stretch a little bit
Her
here.
ears are pinned way back. It's like her ears were gone. Wow.
And I was told leading up to this that the 7 was training lights out coming into this race. And the 7 ran a pretty good race and just got destroyed.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I lost the leaderboard. Let me pull that back up.
By the way, I'm not talking hardly any the rest of the show, man.
Magic's just hiding down there. He's like, do they see me?
I think he's got something matter with him today. He's not a happy guy today.
Listen, Jared's not here. Someone's got to carry the snark train for everybody. All right. Last race here at Belmont. Adam's got the lead, for $24 lead. Is the one going to be able to pay enough money for Shotty to get up there for first? 6-1 right now. Probably not. Probably not likely. Let's see. We've got a lot of people down here with the 9, Illegal Smile. Aaron, I know that was a horse that you liked. I know you don't want to talk too much, but just real quickly, what did you like about the 9?
Well, not a lot since everybody used it. It was just dumb. I knew that. Listen, I think the horse has really been good the last couple times going this distance, or going a similar distance, I should say. And I love Wesley Ward in these sprints. This horse last time out was the first time out the layoff, and she was very, very impressive. I think she moves forward off that effort. So I thought the 9 just seemed to be one of the logical winners. I loved the price of 10-1, and even we're down to 5-1. That's not awful. Knew she would take some money. So I thought 5-6-1 would be about right for this horse.
Mike, who did you use in this spot? Did you use the 9 as well?
No, I used the 1 Star Divine. I actually like the 9 too. But I used the 1 Star Divine, 10-1 morning line. Look, Jorge Abreu's barn has been fairly cold, but that horse ran a huge race, ran second to Champanelli the first time out as a 4-year-old. Gets the extra distance here going that 6 furlongs. So the horse should come from just off the pace. I thought like everything's set up here where, if this horse can take a small step forward, we're right in it. And the 10-1 morning line was what I thought was attractive. I wasn't expecting to actually get 10-1, much like the 9. I agree with Aaron. I think 10-1 was kind of a pipe dream. You're probably going to get about half that. I think the same thing with the 1 here. We end up around 5-1, somewhere in that range. But I think both of them are live. I think this is a really interesting race. I mean, you could talk about almost 7-8 horses in here that have a legit shot. You got Jouster, who's trying turf sprinting for the second time. If you go back and watch Jouster's last race, awful trip. He was 12-1 morning line. Now you're seeing Jouster sitting on the board around 6-1. Toby's Heart actually floats up a little bit, and Toby's Heart had a ton of trouble in the Monrovia at Santa Anita, chased absolutely no pace in that race, came back, ran really well at Churchill. So 6-1 is a decent price there. And the other Clement, the 3-horse Lady Edith, sitting on the board at 25-1. This is first time out of the Clement barn. And you decide to throw her in this race. We have Miss J. McKay, who's all the way on the outside in the 13. I think the 3 is really interesting in a big price as well.
Speaking of big prices, I was the only one to take the 11. She's now 30-1. Mark Cassie. I'm a little surprised by this. I thought that I knew she'd be a bigger price, but I was surprised that she's getting completely ignored here. Miss J. McKay, she was second to her last time out. Miss J. McKay is 6-1, and she kind of got an easy run in the license fee stakes, I thought. Tracked a leader that kind of ended up fading off pretty heavily, and got a very easy win with Irad aboard. Miss Majorette is a closer. There really wasn't that much pace for her to close into there. There were only 6 horses, so a difficult spot. Now she's getting a much bigger field. It's scratched down to 11, but there's a lot more speed here. Dylan Davis is staying aboard. It's her second time with Cassie, second time as a 5-year-old, second time off of the long break. I think that, she, with 3 turf sprints already to her name, I think she's pretty dangerous here at 30-1. But did either of you even consider her as a long shot here?
I did not consider her.
I looked at her a little bit because I have Miss J. McKay as my 3rd place horse. But she needs to improve here to be able to run with some of the top ones in here. I think this is a really competitive race. So I think she's just kind of a cut below those. I wouldn't be shocked if, you fourth, fifth, somewhere like that. I think it's going to be tough for her to be able to win the race, though.
Yeah, career best Beyer was 87 that she's had her last 2 starts, and some of these you're looking at mid to high 90s if you want to try and get to their career best. Star Divine, that 92 Beyer last out. If any improvement, second start at age 4 will make her really tough here. Let's see. I was looking in this. Shadi wants to know if the 9 wins, is she going to be a lock for third? Mike, you're good at figuring this stuff out. Let's scroll back up to the top. There are a lot of 9s behind her there, and she has this entry here with the 1. This one here too.
Yeah, if the 9 wins, she's in third.
Because she'll pass herself.
Yeah, she'll pass herself, and the place money will not, of like the 1 or the 10 or the 13 is not going to catch her if the 9 wins. You have to have like a $20+ place. So yeah, Shadi, I think you've got first or third locked up, assuming something crazy doesn't happen, or second or third locked up, assuming something crazy doesn't happen.
And if Adam Eichelberger was watching this live, which he should probably already be counting his winnings, but Toby's Heart at 6-1. I gave this horse some consideration. I thought would probably be bet a little heavier than this, but does anybody have interest in Toby's Heart? We can talk about him a little bit, or her.
I actually like Toby's Heart coming into this race. Last time out won a stakes at Churchill Downs. I have this horse third, so 6-1 is a legit price on that horse.
I did not use Toby's Heart because I thought Toby's Heart was going to get bet down from 5-1. At 5-1, there's nothing wrong with playing Toby's Heart. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair price in this field. I'm surprised that Carvel is taking as much money as she is. Although, that last race was against the boys, faced Rest Me Red, Brand, Gregorian Chant, was right there with all of them at the end. You're going to see third off the layoff here, third in the Brad Cox barn. But 5-2 seems just a little short to me on the 7.
Only a couple people here, Armand and Dr. Miranda, and Bree did as well, took the 5 Jouster, a horse that we're familiar with for Todd Pletcher and Flavian Pratt. I was a little surprised that Jouster at 12-1 with those connections that you didn't see more attention go to this horse in our tournament. But is it maybe because, she really has been out of form for over a year now? Is that, Mike, do you think what kind of led to that?
This is one of those horses I think is interesting from a tournament perspective because you've seen Jouster do well at the mile and 16th distance. You assume showing speed there that Jouster has enough tactical speed to be close enough in these sprints where if you're able to outkick these horses from home, it's going to work out well. You also have Pletcher, the 12-1 morning line. I mean, I consider Jouster for a long time. That last race, like I said, there's legit excuses for Jouster in that spot. I wouldn't be shocked if Jouster's runs pretty big, but I would want 12-1. I mean, now sitting on the board at 6-1 is a lot less interesting to me.
That's not as fun.
I wish Jouster could show that early speed that we were used to seeing from her. That's just it. Like the last couple of races haven't been very good. Well, last 4 races haven't been very good. Hadn't been able to get to the front. Last time out, total disaster. The good news is, Flavian stays aboard. So maybe they got back to the barn and said, well, X happened, right? And it just didn't work out. And 6, Robin Sparkle scratched out of the race. That kind of, hey, if the 5 breaks sharp, maybe she can get to the front. But as Somich was saying and has been saying, that's not really what you want to do sprinting at Belmont. So there's your negative when it comes to this race specifically.
A lot of activity happening on the other side of the door there. Sorry.
There is quite a bit of speed in this spot, too. Like I expect there's going to be a pretty decent pace up front. I don't know if Jouster is fast enough to get the lead here if she wants to. You'd expect Caravel is going to be forwardly placed. Miss J. McKay generally likes to be pretty forwardly placed. I think you're going to see Lady Edith forwardly placed. Star Divine's generally pretty close. So it could be tough for Jouster to make the lead going 6 furlongs here.
Did we talk about the 10 Flower Point? I know that right there at the top of the screen, Lori Switzer sitting at 8th has the 10, but not going to be enough to a win. Probably not enough to maybe necessarily hit the board. 39-1. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong one. 10, 13-1. Let's talk about this. Shug McGahee, Jose Lescano, 3 races back, won a stakes, going 2 turns on the turf at Aqueduct. The form so far this year in turf miles looked okay at Plenty of Grace, the Distaff turf mile behind Speak of the Devil. We just saw that replay. No sense in getting beat to that horse here. Mike, what do you think about Flower Point cutting back?
Not for me today. This is one of those spots with just so many interesting horses that I don't want to take a horse who is not necessarily doing what they are best at. And I don't think that Flower Point is best going 6 furlongs. If this was 7, I think you could make a little bit more of an argument. But I just, with this cutback, I think it's going to be a tough spot for
it. Another one kind of that has class though, right? Has ran behind, like Magic said last time out. 2 races back, ran behind Plum Ali and technical analysis. Of course, technical analysis came back and won on Preakness Day. 4 races back, Shifty She Beater. That's not a bad horse. So has some class to her. Just hasn't really been able to reel in some of those better ones. The cutback, it's interesting. The horse did run at 7 furlongs and won at Belmont Park on October 3rd, 2021. Was in a sprint stakes going 5.5 at Saratoga. Got 5th, got beat by Caravel in that spot. So, 13-1. It's not the worst, right? It's not the worst play, but I'm kind of side with Mike. I think it's kind of a horse that maybe you play underneath try or super, but that is about it for me.
Let's see. Go back to the chat here. See if anybody else has anything going on. You want to talk about the Belmont a little bit? I know that's kind of where the chat is headed a little bit, so we can look ahead at that for a second. I know we've talked through this race a lot. Let's just kind of real quickly go through in case people don't know who is your top pick, and if you're looking for a long shot, where are you going, Aaron?
Well, my top pick is going to be Mo Donegal. I just feel like we've seen him run down a loose on the leader, and so that's good to know coming into this race where it could happen again. All respect to We the People. I think if that horse wins, nobody's going to be surprised, including me. I think Mo Donegal can go get him. And by the way, the horse that he ran down was in the wood, and that was early voting. And that horse came back to win the Preakness. So it was a good horse that he was able to run down. So Mo Donegal for me on top tomorrow. I think he's going to be tough to hold off. Listen, I saw the current odds, and Creative Minister is 12-1. That's crazy to me. I think Creative Minister's got a great shot. I think he can be a little bit more tactical than Mo Donegal. I don't think he's quite as good as Mo Donegal, but I think he's going to be the one to try to take the first crack at We the People tomorrow. I like Creative Minister at this price. Nest has taken a lot of money in the early wagering, and that's made Creative Minister creep up. So those are the 2. The 6 on top for me. The 5 is kind of the value horse.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Mo Donegal. I've been against Mo Donegal for a while. I think it's time to flip the script there for many of the same reasons as Aaron's saying. Todd Pletcher is very good in training into the Belmont. This horse has always been his Belmont horse. Should love every bit of the 1.5-mile distance. Was able to catch a lone leader in early voting, who I think is better than We the People. So I think that Mo Donegal really gets the setup here. And I don't mind the 5-2 price that we were originally seeing. I haven't seen the current odds, but I don't think that that's a terrible number on Mo Donegal. From a long shot perspective, I'm going to go the 2 or Skippy Longstocking, who I think makes a ton of sense in the underneath bets. Not sure Skippy Longstocking can win, but I do think Skippy Longstocking can hit the board underneath. We talked a lot about the devoid of how there is no pace in this race, right? Skippy Longstocking is probably going to sit in second or sit in the pocket trip with Nest right to the outside. I think that Skippy Longstocking is dangerous to hold on there. And if We the People backs up, Skippy gets first run. I would not be surprised at all if he runs second or third behind Mo Donegal. I'm not advocating a win wager on him. I may have him in a save or pick 5, something like that. But to me, Skippy Longstocking is a long shot that could kind of spice up the exotics.
I'm the one going contrarian. I'm going to have We the People has been my top pick since I saw him in the Peter Pan, and then Epicenter lost the Preakness, and I knew he wasn't going to go to the Belmont. I think he's alone speed. He's got my favorite jockey in the world riding for him. And yes, he looked incredible in the Peter Pan when it was a wet track, but he's looked really great on fast tracks too. He can do both. He has done both. It's a horse that Aaron, you'd even heard about before his debut, that this could be a horse that would be something really special. To me, there's zero concern about this horse. I don't see anybody pressing him. I don't have any reason to doubt his distance abilities. The son of Constitution, who's a son of Tappet. Constitution won the Don Handicap, which is now known as the Pegasus World Cup. You have Tiz now on the dam side as the dam sire, so you're getting a 2-time Breeders' Cup Classic winner going a mile and a quarter, giving you pedigree there. So I really don't understand the concerns there from watching him, how he finishes races the 3 times he's won. I thought he looked very fantastic, and he could have just kept going. And, yeah, the Peter Pan was 1 turn Belmont. This is a bigger step up for him, but if nobody's catching him at the top of the stretch, nobody's catching him at the wire either. So I'm going to stick with him. And then you heard earlier Barbara Road is my long shot pick. But, yeah, that's where I'm going with that one. I don't hate Creative Minister and Skippy Longstocking underneath either. I think if you wanted to take a strong stance with your winner, and then pick a couple of horses underneath. Like Mike, what you were trying to do in that turf race where you were right. You were wrong about one horse, but you had your one horse you thought was going to win. You're like, these 3 horses at prices underneath, they're going to be a good mix for the try.
Yeah, I actually played. So I was on You Better You Bet, gave out a super there, and I put the 6 over the 125 in my super. Over 6 over 125, 125, 125. It costs you $30 for $5. It's one of my favorite ways to kind of play horses when I like one on top. I think there are some prices underneath. You kind of box up 3 horses underneath them. And in this case, Creative Minister I think makes a ton of sense. My biggest concern with Creative Minister is he's the only horse that's running all 3 of these big days now. I mean, this is going to be his 3rd big race in 5 weeks. He ran in the undercard at Kentucky, ran in the Preakness, and now we're going to see him in the Belmont. But he did take a step forward every single time. And so the horse is clearly running well. And if he's running well and going well, I think he can perform well and get hit underneath. I'm not sure he can win. But again, I think it's another horse that's an interesting price underneath. So I put the 1, the 2, and the 5 underneath the 6 for my super.
I certainly think if you're playing a pick 4 or pick 5, or pick 6, you're playing with fire if you don't include that one, We the People, because it does just look like the classic gate to wire type. And I think Magic, he's either going to make you look really good and he's going to win tomorrow by 3 or 4, or he may be out of it like completely and make you look bad. And that's not a knock on your pick. I think it's a good pick, but I think that's the kind of horse he is. It just feels like if for him to win, it's going to take the setup of I'm 2 or 3 lengths ahead the entire way. I really think if they make a move on him and they get to him, he's in a little bit of deep water, but it's that pace scenario is scary tomorrow.
I think it's important that he does not rein in the speed too much. I think like a lot of times we talk about speed as a weapon and you have to properly use it. If he goes too slow, I think it's a mistake from Pratt because you need to create some separation so that you're not a length ahead of Modongo going into the lane, because that is going to be a problem if you are. You want to be 3-4 lengths ahead and Modongo really in chase mode. And it's important that you take some of the gusto out of those kicks from those closers. And the best way to do that is to make them go a little bit faster or deceptively fast and make sure that they are using some energy to stay close enough to go get you. And if you do that correctly, you can kind of take some of the kick away. I think that's going to be important for We the People, because if he goes too slow, it's going to be a problem for him.
If he does that, he's going to win, unless the wheels just completely fall off of him. And like Magic said, I'm not quite sure they're going to, but if he can get that trip, as far as distance, I think he can get the distance. But if he can get that trip where he's 2 lengths ahead of everybody at all times and setting not fast, but not slow fractions, he's got it. I think he'll be very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, my one counter would be you look at that early voting Modongo Wood Memorial, where early voting went 47 and change, 111 and change, came home in 12s, and Modongo just straight ran him down. And we've seen early voting, clearly a pretty good horse. And now I know that Magic is going to make the case it's early voting off the layoff there. And now the Preakness was 4th start in the cycle. That was Modongo off the layoff too. So we've seen him catch a good horse running good fractions, staying doing 12s, and he was still able to get home. And that's one of the reasons I'm confident in Modongo.
Yeah, and I kind of just stooged myself there because that's exactly why I picked Modongo. You know, again, you've seen it happen. He should not have won the Wood. And that was the race. I wasn't high on him. And you rewatch that race, it's like he's pretty damn good. And you need to start giving him a little credit. And now you get in the spot, and it's just like he just kind of seems like that's the one, right? It just feels that way. But like I said, the pace advantage is going to still be a problem. And we haven't even mentioned Rich Strike, the Derby winner, guys, that I know Mike is super excited to play tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to bet all of my money on Rich Strike. No, I just not even a little bit for me. And again, I think Rich Strike's a good horse. I just think the price is wildly inaccurate, right? It's a NFL week 1 to NFL week 2 overreaction where it's just you can't. If let's say he runs back to the Belmont and runs that same race, I don't know if he wins. Like that's the problem. Is that he might need to improve off the Belmont to win tomorrow, and you have 7 data points that say that race is a complete fluke, and you have 1 that says he should be 4-1 tomorrow, and that's a problem for me.
His fan base is rabid, and they don't quite understand what we are trying to say about him. And that's exactly it. It's just like we don't like the odds. We're sitting here on a betting show talking about betting. You just can't bet him at those odds. But I'm with you. I don't think he's a bad horse either. I think he's coming around. I actually think he's improving. Obviously, he is, but he looks like a horse that's ready to run a pretty good race. But boy, it's going to be tough to repeat that kind of effort and repeat that kind of trip and setup. That was a big thing. I was on a show earlier today on VSiN, and there was Patrick, the guy that we did the Sirius XM show with Somich, and then there was a newbie and a guy, well, not a newbie, but a novice is how he described himself. He's more of the sports guy, and he was asking questions. And I tried to explain to him, I said, yeah, he did close really well, but he also got everything perfectly happen for him. Sure, he had to make it up. He had to make up the ground. He had to make that run, so credit him. But it was set up for him to do so. He's not going to get that situation this time around. And that's the biggest question mark for me.
Magic?
About Rich Strike?
Bueller?
Yeah.
No. I don't. No, this source is. Aaron said it all perfectly. There really isn't anything else for me to say. That's why I didn't jump in.
You have to be careful how you talk about the source now, though, because there are people that just are scouring the internet, trying to yell at people that have opinions.
Luckily,
he's not going to win tomorrow.
We're an hour and 15 into a live show that looks like it's probably about one topic. They won't find us here, so we can shit on him here all we want, Aaron.
They'll find it. They will find it. Trust me.
Well, we're sitting 2 minutes to post here to the last. So let's flip back here to the last race away from the Belmont. Great betting race, like we said. I have the 1 and the 7 on top personally. So those are the two I'm going to key around in exotics. Aaron, did you play this race at all?
I really like some exotics in here as well, because I do really like the 9, who's a big price. I thought the 12 also for Chad. I mean, listen, this horse looked pretty darn good last time out. I think that horse could sneak up and hit the board as well. I like a 4, 9, 12 exacta in this spot. I think the odds are right, and I really like those 3 horses the best.
Magic?
I didn't play it. There's your answer.
All right. I'm gonna play the 1 and the 7 over the 3 and the 12. So 1-7 over 3-7-12, 1-3-7-12 on the try. See if we can get the 2 Clements, and Christophe Clements been dominating the turf sprints in New York. Both Miss J. McKay and the 3-horse Lady Edith should get decent trips here. I like Star Divine and Caravel. I like that 7-1 price on Star Divine. Hopefully that keeps floating up a little bit. That's my top pick in this race, and so hopefully she is able to improve off the last. If she does, I think she's awfully dangerous at a decent price.
You're going to see a lot of different opinions in this race, too. This is a wildly wide open race. This is a great race to finish a tournament on. It's kind of already been decided on top, I guess, though, but a lot of opinions. Yeah, which makes the pick of the 9 even worse, because all these opinions and like 10 of us have the 9. It's like, well, that was bad.
It was one of those, when you look at the race, you see 10-1, you see Wesley Ward off this layoff, has the decent numbers at Keeneland last time, comes back, wins last time out at Keeneland. You knew that horse was going to get bet, and you knew it was going to get used.
I know, I'm stupid.
Not what I was saying, but
well, you were giving me shit before the air. I said I didn't say I executed it. I said I tried. I didn't do a great job.
Big difference there, yeah.
Yeah. I tried. I'll try again. I've learned a lot about this one, and I'll try again. It's just, these tournaments are hard for me. They really are. You sit me in front of a screen and let me bet races. That's no problem. These tournaments, they just trip me up something bad. So
it's a different way of thinking. You have to look for I'm sitting in the bottom with $2.80. Won a BCBC seat last weekend in one of these, right? Like you have to set up your structure so that you either goes. I will generally, if you watch tournaments I play in, I'm either last or first. Like it's either down at the bottom or I'm all the way at the top. And it's why I'm not really embarrassed to be in the bottom, because that's kind of how you try and win these things. Because if I hit 2 of my horses, like the 50-1 shot last race runs 3rd, all of a sudden you're in a completely different position.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That's, like I said, that's what I tried to do and did it unsuccessfully. But we're going to try again, Somich. We're going to try again. And, I feel like I learned something today, and that's what's important.
I love it. All right, we're walking into the gate here for the turf sprint. Good luck to everybody in the tournament here. I know, Amber, you might get Shadi, you might get the price to float up a little bit on the 1 here and give you a chance at catching at him, but I think you need to get like to 11-1 or 12-1, so it might be a little bit of a pipe dream there. I don't know, the 12, and Nick Sievers at the 12. Does that get the job done? No, 12's 10-1. The Magic, you're 11. I don't think you're close enough, right?
37-1. It'll be fun.
$64
There's a cap, right? The most I can make is 40.
is the cap.
Yeah. Stupid caps. What the hell's the point in picking a 37-1 if I can't get the full value of it?
No. Because not as many people will have it. There you go.
That's true.
All right.
You get 64, everyone else gets
Off we
0.
go.
Everybody broke pretty well except the 4 there. Toby's heart not breaking out very well.
Adam doesn't care.
Caravel going to make the lead. Not exactly what I was hoping to have Caravel and then Star Divine in second. I thought they'd be a little bit further off. You got a Legal Smile sitting right to the outside there.
Hmm.
I mean, wonder how fast they're going. 22 and 3.
22
Okay.
and yeah, that's not that fast.
No.
For a turf sprint with 11 horses, you'd think they'd go a little quicker than this.
Do you think they just decided let's get 7 to the front after that poor effort last time out?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was enough speed in here, but there was no like true "I'm going to go get it" speed. So
Yeah.
I'm not like shocked, but I am surprised.
Come on, 11 horse.
Is that the 3, right? Get out of here, 9. Come on with a 7-1-3.
Close.
Get out of here, 9.
3 is making a nice move.
Come on, 7-1-3.
7's got it. 7-1-3.
Hold off, Jouster. 7.
Oh no, Jouster!
3,
Hold on, Jouster.
7,
Oh no! Oh no!
I would have 10 on that try. That would have paid. That 3's 35-1.
Pratt.
Jouster ran fantastic in this race. Wow. Sorry, Somich.
Oh, he got there, didn't he? Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
No,
Jouster.
I 1,000% thought you had it. Wow.
Bummer.
Yeah. Boy, the 9 horse that half the crew was on was there just when they took off, just kind of got left behind. 7-5-1-3-9. 7-1-5-3-9. Ooh.
Oh.
Well, Shoddy, you were pretty much guaranteed second either way, and you got it. Congratulations.
Wow. Hard. Did nobody use the 7 in this tournament? Holy cow.
It's one of those horses that's kind of tough to use at the price, you know?
Correct.
Who wants the 5-2 favorite in the last leg of the tournament?
Correct. Yeah.
Good effort. Good effort from her. By the way, Flatters Arrest Me Red, if you were wondering.
There you
Forget
go.
about that for tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too. She debuts against the boys there, goes against the boys for Brad Cox, then gets back against the girls here and looked like she never looked like a loser once they turned for home. She looked like she was just going to open up, and it's exactly what she did.
Man. Oh, the 1 gets second, the third. Oh, my gosh. Wow. The 5's third.
Yes, it is.
Man, oh, man, that's sickening.
Oh, I actually thought the 3 might win the race at one point too. It was when like the 3 wheeled out and started going forward a little bit. I thought the 3 was actually dangerous to get up and just didn't get there.
Wow. The 5 came out of nowhere, I feel like, too.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Well, that's Belmont.
The 3 looked like she had a really nice move and just kind of couldn't sustain it at the end. They definitely couldn't hold off Jouster like you brought up, Aaron.
No. Man.
Oh, that's funny. Gaff Leon said he thought there'd be more pace and he was going to sit off. He said nobody went and she moved, so he went.
Yeah, I'm surprised the 9 didn't go. I mean, I thought Illegal Smile was going to be on the lead.
Yeah.
And I guess Carmouche decided. Was it Carmouche or Davis? One of the two. Carmouche decided not to take it, and Caravel's fast enough. She can be out there if she needs to, and like generally she sits second, third, fourth, somewhere in there. But took it to him today and was able to get the job done, and was able to beat the track bias there as well. And again, you saw the 5 flying from the back, and you generally don't want to be up front right now turf sprinting, and so that makes that race even more impressive.
Hey, Magic, you made a comment about how this Flatters Arrest Me Red. So there's another fantasy league, that we follow that does all year. Somebody just claimed Arrest Me Red in that league right after they hit the wire in this race. I got an email. So
That's funny.
But also flattered Gregorian Chant and Gear Jockey, who both beat her last time.
Okay, all right. Get it.
Just saying. She ran 6th in that race. There were multiple horses tomorrow that ran against her and beat her. She did run 6th.
Ran 6th. Yeah.
I know you're going to check.
I'm not checking. This filly was supposed to be an absolute superstar and just kind of tailed off. So,
what? Like I was really high on her in that Churchill race. I played her on top in that turf sprint, and the move to the Brad Cox barn. You'd think that not to knock Graham Motion, pretty good trainer, but Brad Cox is a better turf sprinting trainer than Graham Motion is. So you would think that move would be a step forward for her, and so it's gonna be interesting to see how her 5-year-old season is here. But she's gonna be someone that I will be playing at Saratoga.
No, I agree.
I think Cutter Racing didn't own her when Graham Motion had her. I think they sold her. I think she got sold after the Breeders' Cup. That's how she ended up with Brad Cox.
But yeah, when she was back in the Elizabeth Merriman barn, I mean, she was dominant. I mean, she was awesome. I mean, back-to-back races there, ending in the Grade 3 Caress at Saratoga.
So Shoddy officially gets second.
Is it updated? All right.
Yeah, Adam wins. Shoddy second. Mark Devine ends up in third.
Good. Mark was at or near the top for a lot of the day, so it's good. Shoddy put in 2 entries and just started doing this 2 tournaments ago. She was that close to getting second and third in this thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean that is.
And
impressive.
Yes, I finished 22nd. Thank you, horse tourneys.
You beat me. Oh wait, no. Well, I think I got. Oh yeah, 23rd. I got over $10. There we go.
Mike, I will hand it to you. Some horses go gate to wire. You did the same thing, just the opposite. Congratulations.
Consistency, baby.
What a slam by Magic. He's in a real foul mood. If you're in this mood tomorrow, it's gonna get old. We got 3 hours with you tomorrow. So
he's taking shots after finishing 22nd, which is the funniest part to me.
That is pretty funny.
I take shots because what else am I gonna do? I can't gloat.
I'm over here finishing 12th and just embarrassed and want to get off the air, and Magic's making fun of everybody.
I didn't make fun of you this time.
Well, how could you? I mean, you were awful this time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about tomorrow. We're going to be back live for Belmont Day, I believe 2:45 Eastern, 1:45 Central. What is that? 11:45 Pacific for all you West Coasters out there. We're covering the last 5 races from the Belmont, obviously ending in the Belmont Stakes. Well, actually, I shouldn't say the last 5. We'll be covering the Stakes Pick 5 from Belmont.
The last 5 that
there
matter.
Are 2 races after the Belmont Stakes tomorrow, so make sure you come back and join us tomorrow to 2:45 Eastern and hang out with us and watch some racing.
Yeah, we get what race did that start with? The not the Ogden Phipps, Woody Stevens.
Ogden Phipps.
Let's start with the Ogden Phipps. Okay, yeah, we'll have the Ogden Phipps, the Jaipur, the Met Mile, the Manhattan, and the Belmont Stakes. Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, and the Affirm Stakes if Rich Strike wins the Belmont Stakes. So you can stay tuned for that as well.
That's right.
For Aaron Halton and Mike Somich, I'm Magic. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of you, whether you're part of the tournament or not, though we do like you more if you were part of the tournament. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the Belmont show. Even if you come in and out, filter in and out, love to have you. It'd be a lot of fun in the chat. Until then, we'll see you. Have fun, everybody.